Hello guys, hope you're all really well. Today we are going to be talking about a few rumoured departures from Arsenal in these final few days of the transfer window and deciphering whether or not those rumours have any substance, any truth behind them. The players principally we're going to be talking about are Emile Smith-Rowe and Gabriel, of course, the centre half. Let's get right into it. Before we do, just want to say thank you for watching. It's been a great transfer window. I've loved doing these little videos. It's been kind of low pressure. I've been able to talk freely with you guys and you've really seemed to respond and enjoy the content. So thank you so much. It's made it very worthwhile. If you have enjoyed these videos, do subscribe for more like this in the remainder of the window, but also the season to come. I'm really going to try and keep this going. I should add, by the way, that little Rocky is actually sitting in on this video. So if there are occasional jump cuts, they're the bits where he's shouted at me or asked me to feed him or change his nappy. Okay, let's talk about Emile Smith-Rowe first of all. Reports over the weekend and today of interest from Chelsea. They've had a number of injuries in attacking areas, Mykhailo Mudryk being one, Carney Chukwuemeka being another. He's out for a number of months. And so they're looking for attacking reinforcements. Emile Smith-Rowe apparently one of the names on their list, if reports are to be believed. And that sparked a lot of debate, a lot of talk about Emile Smith-Rowe's future. Would Arsenal really contemplate selling him to Chelsea? I think that wouldn't sit well with a lot of people, given that he's an academy player, one that's hugely popular here, and also Chelsea very much a rival club. And I think some people are already of the mind that we've done them a bit of a favour in this transfer window already by bailing them out to the tune of £65 million with Kai Havertz. We don't want to do them another favour by letting them get hold of Emile Smith-Rowe. The good news is I think this is extremely unlikely to happen based on what I've heard. Arsenal, as you know, as has been discussed here, sat down with Emile Smith-Rowe and his representatives a while ago now, towards the start of the summer, and made it very clear they did not intend to sell him. They saw him as part of the squad for next season. And ultimately, very little has changed since then. I know he hasn't been afforded the most minutes in these first few games, but the expectation is that that will change once Arsenal begin the cup competitions, the Champions League, the League Cup starts not too far away. Suddenly, rotation is going to become a necessity and players on the fringes like Smith-Rowe may get their opportunity. Arsenal have Smith-Rowe still under a long-term contract. You know, he is a homegrown player. He is a, what's the phrase? He is a club-trained player, which, you know, is very useful to them in terms of their UEFA quotas and things like that. And crucially, they need the options. They need the bodies. So there's no intention to sell him at this point in time, particularly to a rival club. The good news also is that Smith-Rowe, although he'd like more minutes, I don't doubt, from what I hear, is not in a position where he's looking to push something through or force something through. I mean, never say never in football, but certainly the noises that I'm hearing today suggest that this one is not going to happen. Arsenal are going to keep Smith-Rowe. In the long term, I think there could still be an issue here. I don't see him getting enough minutes to feel truly satisfied at Arsenal. I think, you know, he doesn't necessarily make for the best fit in this system. And I wonder if in the long term he may end up leaving. But I think at the start of a season where there's going to be such high demands on Arsenal and such necessity for a big squad, he's not one of the guys I see leaving in these final few days. And there are a lot of players Arsenal hope to get out before they would even contemplate losing Smith-Rowe. So hopefully some good news there. Everything I'm hearing suggests Smith-Rowe will stay at Arsenal. Gabriel, fascinating one. You know, been out of the team. I'm going to play devil's advocate a bit here because a lot of the discussion has been, well, what's up with Mikel? You know, why is Mikel chosen to leave Gabriel out? And I've seen a fair amount of criticism of the manager. I've been quite critical of him because I think Gabriel should be playing. But just to play devil's advocate, to put an alternate perspective on it, you know, we don't know what's gone on with the player. And we know there has been interest from Saudi Arabia. Is it entirely plausible that one of those offers, or that offer, has turned the player's head somewhat, and the manager has concerns about his commitment? Now granted, the performance he put in, for example, coming off the bench against Crystal Palace, he looked like an incredibly committed player at that time, but I couldn't blame any player for having their head turned by some of the astronomical figures we are seeing thrown around by Saudi Arabia at the present time. The trouble for Arsenal, of course, is that that window stays open beyond the Premier League window. This all ties into something which I think many clubs would like, which is, could the window possibly close before the commencement of the season. Because as it is, you've got a situation where, you know, Gabriel may have had this offer, he may have hoped to take it up, or at least hope that Arsenal would, you know, be open to a sale, and consequently, you've got a potentially destabilised player there, and that destabilisation could continue. You know, the English transfer window closes this week. I think I'm right in saying the Saudi Arabian window is still open for another fortnight after. What I would say is that I think we've entered a period now where Arsenal cannot contemplate letting Gabriel go. I think it's too difficult to replace him with a player of the requisite quality. I think a number of the top left-sided centre-halves in Europe have already moved. I saw Sammy Mokbel wrote in the Daily Mail about Arsenal's interest in Mark Guéhi. He is a player that Arsenal like. Whether Palace would even consider letting him go at this point in time, I don't know. And also, I'm not sure that he's as natural a fit, as good a fit as Gabriel alongside Saliba. I heartily believe that Gabriel should come back into the side this Sunday for the Manchester United game. I think he will. I hope he will. I don't think he's going anywhere. One player who is going somewhere is Flo Balogun. You may have seen reports today that his medical with Monaco is scheduled for today. A fee which could total 40 million euros. I know some people were hoping for higher. I mean, if all those add-ons are triggered, including a sell-on clause, which we believe is part of the deal down the line, it could be Arsenal's record sale. And for a player who's barely made an impression in the first team, I think, you know, that's a relatively decent outcome. Frankly, I would have liked to have seen him given more of a chance at Arsenal, but I wonder if we always saw this as an opportunity to balance the books and make a profit on a player who cost us nothing. And in that respect, you can't really argue with the numbers. You can't really argue with the economics. That sell-on clause could be attractive. We've seen some of those coming in this summer. Mavropanos, Guendouzi, it looks like it's going to Italy with a loan and an obligation, so that might be a little windfall for the club next summer. What I haven't heard about is a buyback clause, which would have been interesting. Obviously, a buying club is always going to be reticent to put that into the deal. I guess the sell-on, though, the fact that you've got a sell-on clause means you could get a knockdown on any potential buyback in future. But it's quite rare that players do actually come back. It might not be what they want. It might not be what the club wants. So while I, as a fan, might want it, I can see perhaps why it's not in place. So Balogun headed out, and then there's a few more, you know, who could well go. I forgot in my last video to mention Nicola Pepe. You'd think Arsenal will be doing everything they can to sort another club for him. Rob Holding. Reports of interest in Spain for him and Turkey. I believe there's interest in France as well. So lots of options, and the Premier League potentially. I think he'll get his move. I think the club will do what they can to facilitate that. Sami Lokonga, Nuno Tavares, all the same names. The two goalkeepers, one of Heiner or Okonkwo will probably go. Cedric Suarez may go. It really is entering a period of the window where things are going to happen very, very quickly. Remember, the window does not end on the 31st this time. It ends on the 1st, the Friday, 11 PM at night. So it could be an eventful few days. I still don't expect an incoming signing for Arsenal. It's all quiet on that front, unless there's a surprise departure. And as discussed today, I don't necessarily see those happening. Anyway, good to talk to you as always, guys, and we'll catch up soon, no doubt. Thanks so much for watching. Do subscribe. All the best. Bye-bye.